But everybody learns hypochlorite when it comes to bleach. Here you go, Kathy. Mr. Bacteria, here you go. Xenia, here's your, okay. And that, here you go. Michael. So, when we put a cleaning chemical on a surface, 4 things happen chemically, and either one or combination, and they're actually listed at near the bottom. The first thing is called wetting. So when you put a chemical on a surface, it makes the surface wetter. Let me give you an example. You can take a glass and put water in it, and then take a metal paper clip, and it'll float on the top of the water because of the surface tension. But you put in 1 drop of Fabuloso, or pine sol, or ivory, it drops right down because the surface tension is broken down. That's what wetting is all about. Okay? The second thing that happens when you put a chemical on a surface is called emulsification. That separates the oil out of the soil. When you wash your hands with a detergent or soap, it emulsifies. And we know that COVID-19 is surrounded by what's called a lipoid. That's oil. That's why hand washing is recommended to do 4 times a day. It breaks down oils. It emulsifies. Third thing is called dispersion. An example of that is step on a dirt clod and it spreads, or step on something on the floor and it spreads. That's what dispersion is. And then it makes the soil into smaller pieces and it's easy to remove. And the fourth thing that might happen chemically is adsorption. That's where the chemical becomes like a magnet. Okay? So when you put in a chemical down a surface, it may do any one or combination of these things. So I can tell you, when you wash your hands with soap, you're wetting and you're emulsifying. And if you do it with warm water, again, the warm water is going to break down the soil even better. So if you don't have warm water and you use cold water, you have to just do it longer. Okay? And CDC, I believe, recommends 20 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds, 4 times a day. My recommendation is when you take your gloves off, you wash your hands. Automatic. Okay? Just automatic. Green cleaning came about because too many custodians were getting sick. And again, so we're trying to use pHs between 5 and 9. So I wear a waterproof glove. The only reason is if I'm sticking my hand in the toilet, I don't want to get stuff on it. So this is just a little recap of the chemistry of cleaning. The Cleaning Management Institute, or ISSA, International Sanitary Supply Association in Chicago. You can take a 1-day class on the chemistry of cleaning. It's all right here. Okay? If you want to determine the pH of a product, go to section 9 of the safety data sheet, and it'll tell you what the pH is. Okay? Several months ago, Xenia placed an order for, it's called an atomizer. This, I have water in here only. Talked about how this thing works. When you take it out of the box, this is not connected, it's loose. Okay? So the way it recommends is you put your water in first, and then if you're adding a chemical like a disinfectant, that goes in second. And you let it sit there for a few minutes so it gets mixed up. About 18 inches away. You can also adjust how much comes out by changing this little dial here. Okay. Has anybody used one of these before? Okay. Okay. We got a couple. Mr. Bacteria, right? Now, I don't have safety goggles on or my gloves, or you can't see, but yeah, but no. About 18 inches. Now, compare that to a spray bottle. Okay. Get the other side. Come on, what's the standard? Okay. Very good. Excellent. Now, according to the manufacturer, this 1 liter should do about 50 of these before you have to refill, okay? It takes about 2 hours to charge, and when it's being charged, by the way, it will not operate. When you're done with the unit, and it's in the handout. In fact, if you go to the next page, Mike, what page number is it? I think 11. Okay. What you do, empty this. Now, where might you empty it if it has a disinfectant in it? Maybe a custodial closet and a utility sink, maybe down a toilet, okay, a drinking fountain or whatever. Okay. Then you fill it with water and you run it through the system again to make sure there's no leftover disinfectant in the system itself. Let this air dry. Keep your unit upright, okay? And then charge the battery. You should get almost 2 hours of use on the battery before you have to recharge, okay? Now, what are the advantages? Oh, there's one other part on the PM. There's a little nozzle here that can get clogged. It comes with a pin, so you can just poke it in there to make sure nothing gets clogged. Or you can take air under pressure and give it a little squeeze. I didn't bring my plier, but this comes right out, okay? Nope. Advantages of using an atomizer such as this. First of all, you get so much better coverage, okay? And with a spray bottle, you don't, first of all, the drops are very big, so you can damage surfaces, particularly if there's paper and stuff. What can you put in that for dispensing? Besides a disinfectant, what else might you put in there? What else could you use? How about maybe glass cleaner? Okay. How about, okay, for your 3M product, disinfectant for doing your restrooms and stuff? Okay. Hydrogen peroxide? Okay. If you're going to clean a restroom, you're going to get much better coverage with this on the fixtures and a lot quicker than if you're using a spray bottle. Okay? In fact, hospitals are eliminating spray bottles because it aerolizes and we end up breathing it. Personal protective equipment, gloves, safety goggles, okay? Long sleeve shirts, because you don't want to get this chemical on your skin. Okay? So, just think about it. Do you guys have a quarantine protocol for COVID-19? Okay. And then don't you go in and afterwards spray the room, okay, with some kind of disinfectant? Okay. Yeah, most organizations have that set up. Again, my experience with the atomizer, and I've had this one for almost 6 months. Keep it upright, do the PM, and this thing will just continue to perform. Okay. Sir. So you can see better. And it's what we call sizzle. Okay. It's fun at night. Okay. It actually lets you see the spray going out a lot better. Okay. Anyway, that's an atomizer, and I believe you were going to do some distribution later. So, whether you use an atomizer or not, let me tell you the recommended best practices. You clean first. You apply your disinfectant, let it dwell, you clean again. Because you don't want a residue to build up. Okay? So, at San Joaquin Delta College, they're doing 3-person teams going into classrooms that are being used. First person cleans, second one sprays, third one comes in and re-cleans. And I believe you're using paper towels, okay? So that's a one-time use. That's a best practice, okay? If you use a microfiber towel, what happens to it? It gets soiled. So then you're just contaminated, okay? So going to one-time use, dry it off, throw it away. Okay, sir? Yeah, it doesn't like hot water. Okay, it wants room temperature water. Plus, on green cleaning, they don't want us using hot water because they claim it takes too much energy to create hot water. This works room temperature water. Good question, Dave. Okay. Also, we find that sometimes hot water affects some of the seals that are inside the device. Okay. And if anybody wants to see what the inside looks like, I actually have a picture one I can send you. It's basically a tube with a pump. Guess what country manufactured this? Yes. Yeah, in China. Do you guys use Kaivac? Oh, okay, so you're familiar with the bathroom cleaning machine, right? So Kaivac now includes a yellow microfiber towel with their unit. And I said to him, the proper way to use a towel is you fold it so there's 8 sides. Okay? Not like at McDonald's where they go like this. Okay? Well, Kaivac thought that we were so dumb, they decided to number the different panels, 1 through 8. Okay? And I went, well, you know what? I'm going to order some from their vendor in China. They came in Mandarin. So I'm not giving those away either. Another question.
Yeah, so the lithium battery pack, and you have connectors that always have one charged up and one charged.
That's a good question. I don't know, but I believe Zinnia has a plan where you're going to have extra units, correct? Yeah. Is that an electrostatic sprayer back on that table? Okay, so let me tell you what the difference is between an atomizer and electrostatic sprayer. Electrostatic changes the chemistry of the solution coming out. It changes it so it has a negative charge. Thank you, Mike. When you get my age, they're called rolling blackouts, okay? Negative charge. But that does something else. It changes the weight of things so they drop on the floor, okay? So they get heavier. Plus, it envelops the surface. So you know how we did this? We had to walk around. If you have electrostatic, you could stay right here and it'll get all of it, okay? This thing discharges at 40 microns. A micron is 0.00013 of a foot, i.e. it's tiny, okay? So 40 microns is 40 times that, okay? So it's very, very, very tiny stuff. And if you came here, you can see there's still some drops on here. Okay. The other thing is this: when you put this on, dwell time's about 10 minutes before it evaporates. But that's going to be dependent on airflow, humidity, okay, a lot of different factors. So this is a liter, and normally it's 1 ounce of disinfectant to a liter, so that's a 1 to 32. Okay. Some of the companies sell tablets now. You put the tablet in it, let it dissolve. And again, I wanted to demonstrate just with water. Okay, it's just the safest way to do it. I have a zucchini plant, potato plant, and a tomato plant. I use this to just mist. Pretty neat, huh? Anybody ever worked in tomato fields besides me? Age 16, Oceanside. Worked in tomato fields. My brother and I were the only 2 gringos. The first day, I remember this, they call it stoop labor because you basically stoop to do everything, okay? And at lunchtime, the field superintendent in English asked me to get him his lunch. No, in Spanish. I brought him a roll of insecticide string. So he said, well, yes, you're going to learn some Spanish. So I did. I'll tell you what motivated me to stay in school. Working in those fields for an entire summer. And when I graduated from college, I then worked in a tomato factory before I went on active duty, and I was called the tomato dumper. Anybody ever done that job? So here it was. When they bring the tomatoes back from the field in crates, my job was to dump them onto the conveyor belt. And you go, how difficult can that be? If you dump too fast, you clog the machines. If you dump too slow, the packers weren't happy. Anyway, if anybody, and I swore I'd never grow tomatoes, and that's what I now grow. Kawano Brothers, they're still in business, okay? San Diego County. Anyway, I wanted to show you the atomizer and how it works, okay? You did a good job, okay? Let's see, do I have a gift for you? No. No. Here's 2 ounces of NC2 sanitizer. You might want to use it immediately. But that's usually how you can tell custodians if all the keys hanging. University of Houston doesn't use keys anymore. It's all credit cards. You know, like you do in hotels now and stuff. And one of the reasons they use it, they know where you're at and how much time is being spent. It's really for safety, but you think about it. Great. Yes. You know, that's a good question. But it's not a chemical. So these are products that you put on surfaces. Ultraviolet light does disinfect, okay? So does ionization. In fact, I'm going to share with you other ways to disinfect at the end of the class. You're jumping ahead, Greg. Good. Okay, just a little topic shift. Let's say you are the superintendent of the district for a day. School is going to start. What are things that you would ask or require teachers and students to do in a classroom to get it ready to be cleaned by a custodian? You're in charge. What are some things you would have students and teachers do? Okay, so I'm going to write them up here. So pick up litter, and let's define litter as anything a vacuum can't pick up. Yeah, jackets, drink bottles, okay, crayons, pens, pencils. Okay, that's one. What else might you do? Let's call that free of obstructions, particularly the teacher's desk. Yeah. Leave, go home, right? So, and Jenny may know the story, but did Anthony ever work here? Mr. Pipkins? Yeah. Okay. So 2 stories. First of all, Anthony Pipkins' mother, best friend, is the mother of a guy named Willie Buchanan who played professional football for the Green Bay Packers in the 70s. Okay? I went to school with Willie. Willie Buchanan's mother and my mother were cashiers at an elementary school in Mission in Oceanside back in the 50s. So, now why am I telling this story? So Anthony used to be a night custodian at a small school when he first got started. And one Friday night, he wanted to leave early. And he did. And that next day, he got a call from the principal, we need you to come back to the school. And Anthony said, well, I'll wait till Monday. So when he came back Monday, he got hold of the principal's office, and they said, what time did you leave? And he told them, you forgot to turn off the heater in a classroom, and the classroom parrot died. Ooh. Talking about going home, okay? Anthony, it's been your directors now, Marino. Okay. I just thought that was an interesting story. So, some teachers, go home. Okay. What else? Let's keep going. Any other things you might have done in a classroom? Okay. Where the furniture lies. Okay. And how high? Because I get asked that all the time. No more than 6. Stack chairs. What else might you do? Okay. What else would make it even easier to clean up? Yes, sir. How about secure the building? teacher responsibility, not ours. What else? Where might be the best place to put them?
By the front door. Never gonna happen.
Do some of your classrooms have sinks? What do you often find in them? How many of you have classrooms that do this? So go to page 15, and I'm going to share with you what Covina Valley did in 2001, and several other districts have adopted. And what I want you to look at is the middle part of the page. At the end of the day at Covina Valley, teachers and students are responsible for the following. Align the furniture so that at least there's a 30-inch aisle. That's a Cal OSHA standard. Okay? Stack chairs. Matt mentioned that. Okay? Pick up litter and dispose of it. Remove any debris from the sink so that you can go in and clean and disinfect it. So no coffee grounds, no plants, no tempera paint, no clay, sunflower seeds, you name it. Secure the windows. Okay? Clean whiteboards and tray. And a lot of classrooms now have these smart boards. Okay? Wash hands and do their desktops. So back in 2001, students were given a paper towel to clean the desktop, so the next student had a clean surface. Okay? And enforce food and drink guidelines. Oh, that's a tough one. And it's really tough when you have carpet, because what do you think causes every spot in carpet? The food and the drink. Harrisonburg, Virginia, they have a breakfast program. They have breakfast programs too. Okay, all their classrooms, 80% carpet, 20% tile. They only let them eat on the tile. Okay, so there are things that can be done. I don't think I mentioned, my wife and I, every year before COVID-19, would invite graduate students to our home as welcome to San Francisco State. And they go, well, Perry, what do you do? Well, I teach cleaning. And they laugh. Like, you're kidding. I go, well, I got this little questionnaire here. I don't think you can answer any questions. Do you know the difference between an acid and alkaline on a pH scale? You know what the draw time is for a disinfectant? Okay? You ever heard of MRSA, right? I'm often been asked to go speak to their classes. Okay. Now, why am I telling you this? So, how did this all happen at Covina Valley? They formed an advisory committee of teachers, custodians, and students and said, look, we only got X number of custodians. We've got a lot of students and teachers. What can we do so that our classrooms are cleaned every day? The teachers came up with that list. Okay? And here's what the custodians were told when they put this in place. Look, when you go into a room, if these things aren't done, don't confront the teacher, tell your supervisor, your lead. Okay? And the lead, you go and talk to the school principal. Okay? Beverly Hills Unified said, oh, we can do better than this. They don't allow personal pencil sharpeners. You got some of those in your classrooms? Okay? You get graphite, you get those wood chips, oh, that's nasty. Okay? And they outlawed glitter. Oh, did I hit a magic word there? Yeah. Okay. Well, how about gum? You know what it costs to get a piece of gum out of carpet? It's $10. Okay? I went back to the Wrigley Corporation in the mid-90s with a mentor of mine, friend Bill Griffin, and we asked, is there some way to change the formula so it won't stick underneath desks? And they said the solution was education. Well, that ain't working. Okay? I'll tell you two countries that don't have any problem with gum. Singapore, and the other is Ireland. Okay? In Ireland, if you spit out gum, they give you a ticket. And you can ask my wife's aunt what it cost. Okay? It was $240 for spitting out a piece of gum. Yeah. So we can put a dollar value on gum. Okay? San Bernardino City, one of the elementary sites, is gum-free. It's spotless. You walk on the sidewalk, your shoes don't stick. Okay? There's no gum in carpet. Okay? How do you get gum out of carpet? Tell me how you do it. So one of the methods is to freeze it, right? Well, anybody know any other ways? There you go.
Yeah.
Poke some holes in it, use Goo Gone, and that delimaline is a solvent. It breaks down the adhesive. That's a good way. Anybody know any other methods?
Dumpy gum, corn cake. It works better than the freezing.
Supervisory material right there. Yeah. That's why this is so attractive. The carpet squares. You not have to pull it all up, okay? Use that. Anybody ever use peanut butter to get gum out of carpet? Any of the ladies ever as a kid, younger? Pardon? Yeah. Yeah, it's an oil. Okay? It breaks down the adhesive. But I'll tell you how to get gum out of carpet all the time. Okay? Put down a spot remover, put a white towel, and get a steam iron. Gum melts at 230 degrees Fahrenheit. It'll work right up. Put that towel down, because if you don't, you'll have the impression of an iron on the fibers. Okay? 95% of all carpets made out of nylon. Okay? Some of the nylon is very can change colors very easily. Mustard, once that gets on carpet, it's tough to get out. Okay? You've got to be a specialist on trying to get that stuff out. The other nasty one you got is ink, because when ink gets wet, it spreads. Okay? Here's a home solution for ink. Noxema skin cream and baking soda mixed together. You just put it on the ink, next day it'll be gone. Okay. Kathy's writing that one down. She said, oh yeah, okay. Gilroy Unified. They said, you know, who contributes to the litter in the classroom? The students. They then take that trash can, they take it to the dumpster. Okay? That's a logical consequence. The city of SeaTac did an experiment in some office buildings. They took out all the trash cans. Guess what? People stopped making trash. Okay? Covina Valley took this a step further the following year. Instead of putting waste bins at the door, they put them outside the door. So when you were short-staffed, it was a lot easier to do trash collection. At San Francisco State, if you're a faculty member, work in an office, administrator, if you want your waste bin, your recycle bin, or compost bin emptied, you put it out in a common area. Okay? So there's a lot of things that can be done to make it easier too. And I look at it this way. Your students are part of the team, the cleaning team. They're part of it. Scott, how many kids at the high school you had?
My first year, there were about 4 smaller elementary.
Oh. How many custodians?
2.
Okay, so it's 2 against 250, right? Who wins every day? They do. But what if they help? Then it's 252. Okay? That's the distinction. And at St. Helena Unified, they don't even use the word trash. Okay? Everything gets composted or recycled. Okay? They start that at kindergarten. Okay? You go to St. Helena High School, they allow kids to eat at the high school open campus. After lunch, if there's any litter on the campus, all afternoon activities stop. Okay? They don't have that issue. The Mondavi family donated $2 million for their Performing Arts Center because they said whenever we drive by that high school, it's a showcase. Pretty neat. Anyway, I just want to share with you what are some other things that might be done campus-wide that would also make it easier for us to keep the place clean, besides this little list here. What are some things you'd like to see? Do you allow teachers to bring in their own furniture from home? They're trying not to. Okay? If it's not fire retardant, it's gone. What about pets?
No pets.
No pets? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So when my son went to elementary school, the policy was if the pet lived in water, it could stay in the classroom. If it breathed there, it had to go home each night. Okay. What about a party policy? Okay. Oh, everybody's going to be serving pizza. What could we do to protect this carpet if we were serving pizza? Eat outside is one option. So when these students would come to our house, they'd walk in our hallway and they'd ask me if I was painting the house. I go, why? Well, you have this painter's tarp on your floors. I go, yeah, because when you spill something, it's going to go on the tarp and it's not going to damage my hardwood floors. You can see how popular I am at dinner. Okay? The same thing. If there's carpet in the room and you're going to be serving pizza, put down some kind of, we call it a sacrificial surface. Okay? Plastic, butcher paper, leftover clothes, whatever. Okay? It's preventive. I'll tell you what, if you don't have to clean, that really makes it nice. The problem is we don't design our buildings so to be clean. Have anybody ever been in a clean room before?
Yeah.
Did you have to wear a bunny suit when you went in?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you tie the belt thing properly?
Yeah.
Because there's a very powerful vacuum you step on, and of course I didn't. At Covina Valley, what they did with this is they posted it in every classroom. So if there was a substitute teacher or sub-custodian, everybody knew what their responsibilities were. Okay? And many, many school districts have adopted something like this. Okay? Now, I'm not saying when schools reopen, you go back and say, hey, we took a class from Perry, he said, got to do this. But you can go back and say, you know, it sure be nice if, why do we have 5 waste bins per room? Couldn't we get by with 1 large one? Good. Why are we creating so much trash? Okay. Gee, you're going to have glitter and we have carpet here. Maybe we should put down a piece of plastic. Okay. Oh, getting glitter out's almost impossible. Okay. I don't care how powerful the vacuum is. Next time you go to Las Vegas, if you go, watch how they clean carpet. They do steam extraction. Okay. The steam breaks down the soil, and then the extraction cup is a vacuum system. It's like a kite vac. In fact, that's where a kite vac came from. Okay? Bob Robinson, who started the company, you know how many they've sold now? Anybody want to guess? I think it's 80,000 units. Okay? Kroger Corporation just bought 4,000 of them, not to clean bathrooms, but to clean all the condensers that keep food cold on the aisles, so that nobody has to stick their hand down there and stuff. Okay? I'm trying to convince them to make them for home. You want to make your own home Kaivac? For $100, here's what you get. A Hudson sprayer, that's a sprayer, and a $25 wet dry vac. That's it. You spray, let it dwell, use a brush to agitate, rinse, use the wet dry to get that dirty water out. Okay. Who cleans the men's restroom out there? Okay. Oh, it's in good shape. I even took my light in there. Hey, you know. Okay. On page 16, I wrote down the procedure for getting spots out of carpet, and even though we're not going to do a class on carpet care. And by the way, if it's a blood-borne pathogen, it's no different other than how many bags you use. Okay? But so, step 1 is identify the spot. What are ways to identify a spot? How can you do it? You can visually look at it, and I can tell you if it's a geometric shape, it's probably due to furniture. Okay? So one way is visually, and look around what's in the room. How else might you determine? Smell it. Yeah, don't taste it, smell it. Okay? What's another way? Well, now, Samuel, if you're going to touch it, I'd be sure to be wearing thick gloves. Yeah, how about a pH kit? So you can determine the pH. Okay? But I can tell you in a classroom, just look around what's in the room, that's probably what's contributed to the spot. Put on personal protective equipment. Great, sir.
The first thing that you identify the type of material or fiber you're fighting for.
Well, we know that 95% of all carpet's made out of nylon, and most districts buy the cheapest stuff out there, so it's nylon. Okay. Remember shag carpet, some of us? Okay. It couldn't be cleaned. Okay. You know where they still have shag? Is Winnebago's. I went to one of these shows where they have Class D campers, and Winnebago has one called an Echo, E-K-K-O. It's nice, and has a refrigerator, TV, all that kind of stuff. $166,000. I passed. So, identify this spot, put on personal protective equipment, that's gloves, maybe put out a safety cone if it's a body fluid. Blot up the excess, okay, you can blot up excess with a paper towel, wipe or white towel. Apply your spot remover and let it dwell. Okay? If you want to speed up the dwell time, you can take a brush and tamp it. Okay? Or you can take a knife and just kind of agitate a little bit, right? We always work from the outer edge in. Why do we do that? So it doesn't spread, okay? Gently rinse the area with water. Absorb. Now, if a spot comes back, it's usually because there's still moisture in the carpet. The moisture wicks up the fibers, and then it evaporates, but what's ever in the water is now on the tip of the fibers. They call that wicking, okay? If you use a steam iron, put down a white towel of steam iron, that'll get all the moisture out. Okay? Or you can use a hair dryer, dry the spot. How many of you have hair dryers on your studio cots? None of us. Okay? How many of you have a spot remover with you when you vacuum? Nobody carries it. Okay? That's when you see the spot and it's like, oh, I'll get back to it. And it doesn't happen. What some districts do is they designate one employee as the carpet expert. And then he or she will go and take care of the carpet spotting. Apply the disinfectant, let it dwell, inspect, wash your hands. Okay. You can go to almost any website, CMM Online, CleanFacts, even the vendor ones. Who do you buy a lot of your stuff from? Waxy? You go to their website, they got all kinds of videos on how to get spots out, how to do different things. Of course, they're trying to sell their stuff. You know, keep that in mind. They're one of the two largest on the West Coast. There's Waxy, and now it's HD Supply, Home Depot Supply. That's the other big one. Okay, and I'm personally boycotting them because they're located in Atlanta. I shouldn't have bought the Coke either. Okay. Page 17. Motion economy. In 2015, excuse me, in 1915, it's 100 years ago. It's 21, right? In 1915, our country was starting to get very industrialized, and we started to watch how people work. And one of the things that they first studied was shoveling. Is anybody that's never used a shovel besides my wife? Okay. So, Kathy, you're not into shoveling? No, okay. Okay, so the point, so what they began to test was what should be the shape of the blade? Okay. Should it be flat? Should it be at an angle? What's the recommended weight? What should be the length of the handle, et cetera, et cetera. So they came up with what's called motion economy. And these things apply to all of us. And I'm going to go through about 5 of these. The first one says, motion should be productive. I will tell you that a night custodian walks at least 7 miles on his or her route at night. That's a lot of walking. If you have a cleaning tool with you, you can engage in cleaning when you're moving around. And those of us that work on day, like leads, we often get called to the office all the time. Hey, we need you. If you have a cleaning tool with you, you can engage in something while you're expending the energy. That's the whole concept of motion should be productive. Okay? This is not a cleaning tool. So here's a hint. Write disinfectant on it. Work in circles, number 3. And again, I mentioned about doing a tabletop, okay? This gets half the surface. This gets it all, and you do 3 times the area. I was watching a basketball game last night, the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. During halftime, somebody comes out with a 6-inch dust mop. Did you watch how they do it? They go a straight line. Do this. You don't need 3 people doing it. Same with, and I'm not picking on Scott, damp mopping, okay? Was anybody besides Scott in the military? Everybody else was a draft dodger, just you and me? Okay. Well, I spent time aboard a ship, and we would help the Navy clean the deck at night. And they would use a damp mop, and they would go like this, back and forth. Okay? Not us. We did the figure 8 motion, working in a circle. 3 times the area, same amount of effort. Your floor machines, don't they have brushes that spin? That's the concept of working in a circle. And when you clean a classroom, same thing. You want to start at the door and end up back at the door. Okay? Number 5, everything should have a definite position. The cleanest location on every campus should be the cleaning closet. That's where cleaning starts. That sends a message about us. We want to be treated as professionals. Well, our workspace should look that way. The second cleanest location should be your custodial cart. That also sends a message about you. Okay? You're out pushing that thing. If it squeaks, if it has bags of soda cans on it, you know what I'm saying. Okay? There are 3 airports in the Bay Area. There's San Francisco, there's Oakland, and San Jose. You could go to any airport, and all you can do is look at the custodian to know which is the cleanest airport. And I can tell you right now, it's not Oakland. Okay? I was counting the keys on Michael's thing. I think we got 37 keys. You don't have to belong to a gym. Just carry that stuff around, right? Okay. Look at number 8. Use other parts of your body. So, Audrey, not to put you on the spot, what kind of cleaning can you do with your foot in a classroom? Okay. Maybe if there's a spot, or okay, you might be able to.
Shoe marks on hard floor.
There you go. Okay. Maybe push furniture. Okay. What kind of cleaning can you do with your waist? With your waist, Michael's going, what? Sit on the table? What the hell? Supervisor material? Have you ever watched carpenters work? What do they wear? Why don't we do that? Or use your pockets. Okay? So if you're going to be doing glass cleaning, have the materials and supplies you need to do glass cleaning with you. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay? Use a combination tool, number 9. A vacuum can do all the dry cleaning in the classroom. What surfaces can you clean in the classroom with that vacuum besides the floor or carpet? Windowsills? Pencil sharpener? Vents? Lights? You name it. Okay? Dust? Okay? That tool, but if you don't have it, you got to go in there with a custodial cart full of stuff. Okay? Well, the Kyvac. Do you cause your Kyvac or Versa? Okay, because what we actually did is they worked out a deal with Kyvac to resell the machine and call it a Versa. And when you buy a Versa, you can use any chemical in it as opposed to using the Kyvac chemicals. That was the big difference. When you think about a Kyvac in the restroom, it eliminates almost all the other tools you need. Okay? And Bob Robinson, the guy that founded Kyvac, he changed the whole cleaning industry when it came to, because bucket and mop is outdated. All you're doing is spreading. Okay? It doesn't clean. Okay? You sweat and all that. And it's amazing. I don't care where you go, what do you see? I went to an Arby's in Bakersfield because they were having a special in Reuben sandwiches. And I walked in and I watched an employee take a towel and he put it in the bucket of solution and then clean the customer tables. So I wrote a letter to corporate Arby in Dallas and said, hey, I'm one of your former customers and I'd be more than pleased to come out and show you how to do this. They did write back, oh, thanks for your concern, and they sent me a coupon. That's what I was going to give you, Jamie, but I decided, couldn't believe it. Look at number 11. The cleaning tool must be cleaner than the surface being cleaned. You can't clean with a dirty rag. You can't clean with dirty water. And it is amazing. You watch a custodian clean a multi-purpose room, for example, and they fill the bucket once, okay, and the water changes colors. They're going across the room. You're not cleaning. Okay? If you're going to use a bucket, by the way, get the solution on the floor first. Newest buckets now come with a spigot, like a faucet. You can open it up and just spread it first, so you don't have to keep dipping and mopping. Okay? A lot of changes. So on this motion economy, what I recommend is you pick one of these and try it. I'm going to make sure I always have a cleaning tool with me at all times. Okay? I'm going to have a Leatherman knife. I'm going to have, whatever. I'm going to remember to work in circles. To clean that whiteboard, there's 2 ways. You can go up and down, work in a circle. Okay? I don't think so, because they claim that's continuous motion. Your body likes that. It doesn't like stop and go. Here's what I say. There's many ways to clean. If you meet standard and you don't hurt yourself, that's good, okay? There's several methods. Notice how I avoided answering that? And he did park next to me, and so I'm going to check out my son's car. Yeah, okay. Let's go to page 18. Other ways to disinfect besides using traditional chemicals. 2 of them are here. Steam. Steam disinfects in 3 seconds, not 7 to 10 minutes. And we're not aware of any bacteria yet that can resist steam. Okay. Pretty neat. Sunlight, i.e. ultraviolet light, kills bacteria. You've got a smartphone, hold up the sunlight for 30 seconds. It'll kill any bacteria on the surface that's not encapsulated, protected. Does anybody know any other ways to disinfect besides that? Greg mentioned one. Ultraviolet light. Okay? And you got to watch for the gimmicks where people are saying, "Oh, buy this little ultraviolet light home," and no, it's not going to be powerful enough. Have you heard of enzyme cleaners? Okay. Enzymes are bacteria that eat other bacteria. Most enzyme cleaners come from the intestine of cows. Harris Ranch, Interstate 5, anybody been by there recently? Okay. 500,000 head of cattle. When my wife and I drive by, she goes, "Oh, look at all this filet mignons." I go, "Look at all the enzymes." Okay. Are you looking at my notes? Yeah, okay. Yeah, ionized water. Now, ionized water, okay, what does ionic water do? Okay, it changes the chemistry from H2O to H2O3. It disinfects, and it converts back to water after about 45 seconds. It partly depends what kind of soil's on the window. Okay, that'll affect it. There used to be a company that did ionize. So basically, water goes through an electrical membrane, and it changes the chemistry. Some of the new floor machines, you put in salt water. Okay, it ionizes, but it doesn't do a good job of cleaning, but it does disinfect. Okay, what the Evergreen Valley School District in San Jose is doing, they've installed ionizers in their HVAC system. So as air goes through, the ionizer changes the chemistry. It puts a negative charge. The stuff then falls onto the surface and it can be removed. They're getting it out of the air. Pretty neat. And the efficacy rate is rated at 97%. So that's going to reduce the likelihood of anybody getting sick. Okay, it's pretty good. So yes, we got ionized water. We got enzyme cleaners. Your Kybec is an example of what's called spray and vacuum. Spray on your solution, let it dwell, rinse it off, and then remove all the dirty solution. Called spray and vac. That is an EPA non-chemical certified disinfecting system. Pretty neat. The Japanese discovered if you add titanium dioxide to paint, and you paint that wall, and you let it dry, when you turn on a light, the wall heats up to 120 degrees. Guess who that kills? Mr. Bacteria. Pretty neat, huh? In Phoenix, you can get paint that has basically a microban product in it, so it disinfects on the wall. You can't in California because the disinfectant's a pesticide. Go to Phoenix, Sherman-Williams has it. And here's the last way. There was a biology professor at Oregon State one night working. And it's a Petri dish, it's clear glass dishes where they have bacteria in it. And next to it he had a glass of Merlot wine and he knocked it down and it spilled and it killed the bacteria. What we've learned is cheap red wine disinfects because it has so much tannin, alcohol in it. So if you get stopped by CHP, and you have an open bottle, you be sure to tell them it's a disinfectant. And in fact, in Hollywood, they use vodka to get spots out of clothes. Okay? Again, it has a lot of alcohol in it. So I just wanted to share with you, there's other ways than versus chemical disinfectants. I don't want to predict. I think steam's going to eventually become our primary method for disinfecting. They're doing that in Italy, which is kind of odd since they had the first breakout of COVID. But steam, 3-second dwell time, just amazing. The problem with the steam machines that we have available today, most of the attachments, nothing's wider than about an 8-inch path, so it's limited space. But I think we're going to see it, and the electrostatic and atomizers, we're going to be seeing those on and on. Page 19 is a quiz. We're going to do it together. What was step 5 of the complete cleaning process? What was it? Inspect your work. So, Michael, this is a refrigerator clip. Okay, like you can hang a to-do list from it. Pretty nice, huh? Okay.
That's from the wife.
You can give it to whoever you want. What is the word we use in cleaning to describe contact time on a surface? Okay, Matt, you're a supervisor. You don't get anything. Who else said dwell? Oh. Well, you sprayed any? Oh, you got something already. Here you go, Scott. Wait. I did not go through websites that focus on cleaning. Does anybody know of any? Ecolab, what? No. All right. The most popular one is called cmmonline.com. That's Cleaning Maintenance Management Online.com. It's the best one out there. Second was cleanfax.com. Cleanfax focuses on carpet. So cmmonline.com, best one there is. They'll send you an electronic newsletter every day. One of their tabs is called Ask the Experts. You got a cleaning issue? There's chlorophyll in the carpet. How do I get it out? They'll tell you without naming a product. Everything is generic. Use a product with a pH of 4, let it dwell, etc. The EPA's website, CDC, ISSA, International Sanitary Supply Association, largest trade association in the United States. Every 2 years they have a convention in Las Vegas next November. You might ask Zinnia to rent a bus and just drive there for 5 hours. I don't think that's happening. But a year and a half ago, the first day, they had 40,000 visitors at that show. 850 vendors, and 1/3 of them are from our friends in China now. But if you want to know what's going on in the cleaning industry, that's the show to go to. Okay. Why is an electrostatic sprayer so effective? Michael, oh, you already got something. Oh, you got something here. Eduardo, even just for being here. Here. This is a little letter opener that's pretty slick. Okay. Rapidly. Besides health, why do we clean? Whip some off. You're reading it right from the list. Basically, custodians provide a safe health environment so learning can take place. And without us, the school cannot function. State of New Jersey, we don't show up, the school has to shut down. What's one example of motion economy somebody might try for a week or two? Very good. You get a choice. You can have a letter opener or the disinfectant.
I'll take the disinfectant. Well, you know what? You said that doesn't work well. Thank you.
You got the light. Disinfectant. I have something for you too. What's another method for disinfecting instead of using chemical? Steam was one. What's another one?
Ionized water.
Ionized water. Okay. Excellent, excellent, excellent. There is one more page in the handout. I wanted to show you what they're doing at Elk Grove Unified. They're the 5th largest school district in the state at the moment. Their manager, a guy named Tony Almeida, very involved in CASBO. What they've developed are visual reminders of where to disinfect in different areas. And Zinni, did I send you the entire packet on this? I thought so. But this is an example of a restroom. Again, it's just a visual reminder, and when you print it out, it's in color. Okay, nice little communication device. Does anybody know where Lake Winnipesaukee is located? Earth. Lake Winnipesaukee is located in New Hampshire. It is actually the largest lake in New England. Okay? And in 1956, when I was 8, I went to visit my grandfather who had a summer home on Lake Winnipesaukee. It was my first time away from home. And for lunch, my grandfather made me a foot-long hot dog. Not the kind you got in the store, but there's a Coney Island hot dog, foot-long, sauerkraut, mustard, Sesame Street bun. I'd never had a foot-long hot dog. And after lunch, of course I ate it all. He said, "How was lunch, Perry?" I said, "Grandpa, that's the best hot dog I've ever had. But my lunch plate was dirty." And he said, "That's the best I could do with cold water." Okay? After lunch, we went out on the lake canoeing. We took out fishing poles. When we got back in for dinner, he made me macaroni and cheese with real butter. My mother always cooked with margarine. I didn't know macaroni and cheese was yellow. Okay, it's a difference. I had 2 portions. After dinner, how was dinner? I said, "Grandpa, lunch was great, dinner was even better, but my dinner plate, it wasn't very clean." He said, "Best I could do with cold water." After dinner, age 8, he taught me how to play poker, which is an important skill to have when you're in 3rd grade, right? At about 9 o'clock at night, he goes, "Isn't it near your bedtime?" I go, "Yes, it is." So I went upstairs, put on my pajamas, he followed me up. And he said, "Well, how was today?" I said, "Grandpa, today was great. Lunch was great. Fishing was fun. Dinner was great. I know how to play 7-card stud, but I can't go to sleep. Your neighbor's dog is howling, and that sound frightens me." So he went to the window. He lifted it up. He said, "Hey, be quiet, cold water." I'm sorry. Who's going to be doing the trainer next Monday and Tuesday? Okay. Some of the stuff we covered today, we might do a little bit, but it's more of a training technique as opposed to stuff. Not to put pressure on, I will take care of lunch if somebody will buy it next Monday and Tuesday. Okay. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. So the steak and eggs, is the steak meat? Yeah. Very good. Okay. We still don't know the impact of COVID-19. We're starting to see some very positive signs. It's too bad everybody wouldn't comply with some basic common sense, but that's the nature of our country, I guess. I check the CDC website every day. I check EPA. I check ISSA just to kind of see what's going on in the industry. Everybody's doing things differently. Okay. I did send to Zinnia. OSHA finally came out with an enforcement standard. It's only 32 pages long. If you have trouble going to sleep, read through that baby. Okay. Oh man, and somebody wrote that. Okay. I mean, just amazing. If you have a cleaning question and you don't feel you're getting the right information, you have my email, you have a phone number, let me know. And I'll try to find out for you. So last little story, I was in Atlanta, Georgia 2 years ago, and when I flew into the airport, I rented a black Mustang convertible. Yeah. Put the top down, got on Interstate 75, driving to the hotel, and I look in the rearview mirror and these blue lights. I go, uh-oh, state trooper. I pull off to the side. They know I'm in a rental because the rental cars have different plates. And he came up to me going, "You know how fast you were going, Mr. Shimanoff?" And I said, "I was going with the flow." He said, "No, you were setting the flow." So I looked at him with a straight face. I said, "Well, sir, the reason I was driving that fast is my wife left me last week to a state trooper, and I thought you were bringing her back." No, I didn't. No ticket. No ticket. Okay. When I got home, I told that to my wife. She didn't think that was funny. I don't know why not. I don't know why not. Okay. I was telling 3 of our folks here a little story. Ceres Unified in 1995. Ceres is a little bit south of Modesto, and you graduated from Turlock High School. Okay. We lived on El Capitan, just down the street from there. So anyway, in 1995, some students were walking to elementary school, and they actually captured a gopher, and they gave it to the head custodian and said, "Here, kill it." The head custodian called the maintenance department, and they sent 2 guys over, and they took the gopher and they put her in a red bucket, and they each took a can of gum spray to freeze it, or we call it euthanize. Okay. After going through 3 cans, the gopher was still moving. So one of the maintenance guys then took out a cigarette and a Bic lighter, and he flicked the lighter and blew up the room because the propellant was butane. Okay? The 2 maintenance guys got blown out the door. The custodian got blasted into a brick wall, and his head hit the material safety data sheet on the wall for the gum spray, and there was even a yellow highlighter, extremely flammable. Okay? Superintendent was fired 6 months later. Parents took their kids out of school. Can you imagine you're dropping your kid off and the custodian room blows up? You're like, "Oh, okay, come on, today. This is a stay-at-home day." The most amazing thing about this entire story, the gopher survived. And is now in Hammett. No, I don't. Okay. The purpose of the story really is gum spray is not gopher killer, okay? But this 1995 made the news. Okay, were you familiar with that, Scott? I mean, I know I told you, but it made the news, okay? Good old Ceres Unified. So, I always like to end my workshops by saying, keep it clean out there, and I like to applaud you for what you do, because without you guys, I wouldn't have a job. So, thank you, okay? And I'll see some of you next week, okay?